Short reminder, you can never be controlled by another person or a system or any organization. Why? Because you get to choose every moment what you put your focus on. You get to choose what you can do, and there's no real limitation. It's all self-made. You create your own limitations. If you feel controlled by a person, it means you willingly give your attention to that person. If you just mind whatever you want to focus on, mind your own business, then that person has zero control over you. You don't have to listen to someone. You can just leave their space. You can just withdraw your energy from them. No one owes you. You owe no one your energy, your life force. No one. It's yours. It's your energy. So the illusion of being controlled. So it's an illusion. You cannot be controlled. However, you can be manipulated into giving your control away. When someone manipulates you into giving them your energy, it feels like guilt, fear, and shame. That's the trifecta you have to be aware of. When someone guilt trips you or puts you into fear in order to make you do an action that you don't want to do, that means you have been manipulated into giving your power and control away. What you have to understand is that no one can control you when your will is stronger than their manipulation. Don't succumb to guilt, fear, or shame, because those are very low levels of energy. Those are very low vibrations. When someone guilt trips me into doing something, I always do the opposite. That's just innate. That's just the way I operate. That can also be used as reverse psychology, of course. But I will never be guilt tripped or shamed into being something I'm not, or into doing something I'm not. And I have the freedom to just know that I can leave that field at any moment. And I have done many times. When I don't agree with something, I leave the field immediately. Because I've learned quickly that if you consent and are inauthentic, you will lose your power quickly. So I leave the field immediately. And always what happened is that they would not want me gone. They just say, oh, even with jobs say, oh, can I change your mind? Won't you stay? They have shown me that they have no integrity. I leave and then they try to persuade me into staying. I said, no, I'm leaving because I trust I will be provided for, taken care of, because I am my own source. And then I felt responsible for their pain. And then I stayed. Why? Because of guilt, shame, and fear? I said, no, I don't owe you my life energy. You are a grown man. You are a grown woman. I don't owe you my presence, my attention. They never like it when you abandon them, but it has to be that way. Because when they try to devalue you, and you just don't want to interact with their field anymore, they don't owe you and you don't owe them anything. So that's also, if people want to leave your life, you let them go peacefully. You let them go. If you are fired or if you are discarded, you just accept, because they don't owe you their presence. Okay? And you don't owe them your presence. It's a free will thing. You cannot be controlled. You are the one who chooses to hang out with certain friends, who chooses to go to a job every day. You are the one who chooses to interact with a thing every day out of your own free will. No one's forcing you or making you. The highest form of external controller is just someone gives you an option and you reject or accept. You sign a contract or you reject a contract. It's up to you. You can just simply reject their options. You say no thank you. Then no one can control you because you have free will. You don't have to do anything against your will. But when you consent to signing a contract, when you consent, you are bound to that contract, and then you can willingly obey the terms and conditions. That's why every website you open says, do you accept the terms and conditions? Every purchase you make, terms and conditions, you accept with your free will, because no one can actually control you. It's a free will basis. Even in 2020, there was no control. There simply was pressure. A very large pressure, manipulation based on fear, guilt, and shame. If you didn't subscribe to that ideology, you were ostracized and you couldn't use certain services anymore. Okay, but you don't need the services. You get another job, you get another thing because you don't consent to their control. If you did consent to their control, it wasn't control. It was out of your free will that you went along with it. You could consent or you could reject. So there was never control. There was just an attempt to control. And this is what every controller does in a relationship or elsewhere. If you don't consent to their ideology, to whatever they are projecting onto you, and you stay in your own energy, you don't subscribe to fear, shame, or guilt, no one can control you, ever. And no one can attack you or blame you because you don't subscribe. You are not an energetic match for control. Even going into fights or conflicts or going into the justice system is based on consent, because you have to consent to be a false identity first. You have to consent to the use of their system first. And consenting means identifying with a false name, which is in capital letters on your birth certificate. That's not you. You don't consent. You can simply stop consenting to be the false self. So everything is based on free will and you are already free. And it's funny because all these systems try to make you subscribe to their ideologies and belief systems, but they have no actual power because you have all the power, because you have complete autonomy over your being. And your only authority is you. Authority is just based on manipulation, deception, and illusion. There is no authority. There is no controller outside, because you can just say no. You can just say no. And then you can go into the thought structures of, okay, but what if someone just steals from you or takes from you? There is still a form of consent later, okay? So when you separate childhood, because if you're a child, you don't know that you have your own authority yet. You are unknowing, you are ignorant, and people take advantage of ignorant people. But if you are aware, then no one can touch you or control you, because you won't be an energetic match for someone controlling you. You would be unmanipulatable. You will be untouchable, indestructible. But when you go into structures that aren't your own, you have to abide by their rules. So if you go to an airport, you have to go through customs. You have to obey their rules because you are, with your consent, using their services. If you go to a gym, you obey the rules because you are using their system, their structure, their services. If you go to the government building, you consent because you're using their services, their structures. So you are into a contract with them. That doesn't mean they control you. It means that you have consented to play their game because you want to use their services. Okay, so it's a mutually beneficial thing. But know that at any moment you can withdraw your consent and you don't have to use any services of them. So you don't get into a contract with them. This is the same in narcissistic, codependent relationships. You don't have to go into an energetic bond with them. What I see often happening is the narcissist gives gifts conditionally, and the gifts has rules or strings attached. When I give you this, you have to give me your free labor, your services. I gave you something years ago, so now I have the right to claim all your time, all your attention. You don't have any say in that. I owe you now. I own you now. You can simply make the contract void. Stop receiving their gifts. Stop taking in their information, their projection, and say, no, I'm breaking up. I'm breaking this relationship. You can simply go away and remove yourself and go occupy a new space where you get to make up your own rules, your own habits. Okay, so no one can control you. You just consent to whatever you contract or agreement with others you have consented to. And if you are in a contract that you don't agree with, and if you feel unbalanced in a job, it feels like you are being taken advantage of, or you have a loss of autonomy, then you can simply say, no, I will leave. I'm leaving. And they always want you to stay because they need you. And then you find out they always needed your validation, your consent, because you are the value. Isn't that funny? How it's all twisted and turned around. That's what brings me to my next point. The people here are the value. They are the source. The people here is what makes any system work, because we are life itself. We are the value itself. Us being in existence is pure consciousness expressing itself, pure creatorhood, creatorship. That is our value. So if you give your creatorship away to a system, then you give your creative energy to that. And then it will be created and sustained. If you go into a building where you have a bunch of psychologists psychoanalyzing you, telling you who you are, you consent to their construct and reality. You consent to them giving you identities and labels, which will limit you, which will make you small, which will make you dependent on them. You see, every system is similar to a codependent relationship. It always goes the same. You need me. You are nothing without me. You will die without me. You need me to survive. This is the dependency on drugs, alcohol, the dependency on any system. You need me, otherwise you don't survive. This is what a codependent relationship is. This is how you will feel controlled because you have the false belief that you need them. When you start to go into creator mode, you know you cannot be controlled. You can just subscribe or unsubscribe to structures, and you know you are the creator of everything. You are the actual source. And you have all the power. This is a complete shift, a complete inversion of what you have been taught. You have taught to be weak, vulnerable, and dependent, codependent. The opposite is true. You are a source in itself and you make people depend on you. Because most people who are ignorant of the fact that they are a source creator, they are dependent and they will quickly become dependent on you. That's why gurus exist. That's why leaders exist. They will attach themselves to the leader so quickly because they need someone to follow. But I don't want followers. I want co-creators. I see every single one of you as a creator, and I want to remind you, you are a creator, not a follower. You are your own creator of your own pendulums, of your own vortexes, of your own systems. And I want you to use your creatorship now. There's no more authority, there's no more hierarchy, there is just people who know who they are, creators, versus people who are still ignorant and in child consciousness, feeling codependent on others. Co-creating is complete freedom, but it also means you have full responsibility. People cannot tell you what to do. You are self-governing. Until you become self-governing and you can create your own structures, you need to depend on an outer structure, and you will be subscribed to an outer structure. This is not bad. This is just the way it is. Because honestly, if you are unstructured, you will destroy yourself. And you actually will benefit more by subscribing to an outer structure and being controlled than you destroying yourself. With love, you can be controlled. This is the same as a rehab center, for example. You are actually in a controlled environment for your own protection, because you will harm yourself. And the control can actually help you. So control isn't always a bad thing. Reality is here to serve us, to help us. So you cannot be controlled. But sometimes you choose to be controlled to get better. So with the system and the matrix, it's not bad. You don't have to rely on it anymore. It's just there for the people who can't rely on themselves, who didn't create their awareness yet that they are autonomous, they can think for themselves. Some people, of course, they want you to stay asleep so they can control you and harvest your energy, but that's just a small percentage. Most control systems actually help us get to where we want to go. The airport, the trains, the buses, some structures are just here to provide a service for us. They're not here to control us. Mostly people who try to control you are into politics, into perception management, are into creating movies that shape your mind in a certain way, influence you. But you get to decide what you subscribe to. It's all up to you. You create your own world. You create your own subscriptions. This is a subscription-based reality. Whatever you focus on will be projected into your reality. This is a cosmic algorithm. When you focus on peace, harmony, love, you will create peace, harmony, and love. Wholesome. So everything serves you. All the control systems even serve you. It's just when a control system is outdated because you have transcended it, you don't need an external thing to control you anymore. You become self-governing. You create your own structures, so you are free. But there comes responsibility with it. With freedom comes responsibility. So when you are more free, you are responsible and accountable for everything that happens. Freedom comes with responsibility. And most are not ready for that, because if you suddenly get so much freedom that you don't know what to do with yourself, you will self-destruct and go into addictions or negativity, because you don't know what to do. You have no structure. So for most people, it's not even that advantageous to be free. They would be better off being controlled. They would be better off with rules and structures, because it's simply not safe to be free for them. They are not self-governing. They are not a source. If you are self-governing, you know how to set up your own business and sustain it, for example. You know what to do. You are connected with your intuition and your intelligence, so you know exactly what to do, when to do it. But when you have lost that connection, you are like a helpless child needing guidance, needing instructions and directions. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's just a stage. When you enter a higher level of consciousness, of awareness, you start to resist. You start to not resonate. It's not resistance, it's just you start to not resonate with the old way anymore, with the old routines. They make you feel suffocated. This is a sign that you just have to move on. So most people hate their jobs because they feel it's boring, it's repetitive, and they outgrew it. When you start outgrowing, for example, the concept, the constructs of having a job, it doesn't mean you have to resist jobs in general, or you have to hate or reject jobs in general. It just means that for you, you have transcended the construct of job because you want to have more freedom, more creative expression, more freedom. It doesn't mean there's this evil system trying to control you, because the system was there to serve humans who weren't self-governing yet. The system and even the controllers have served their purpose. When you feel you have outgrown the system, however, that is when you can gently transcend it and you can create something new. You don't fight the old, you just create something new. You don't have to resist the old structures because they have served their purpose, but they simply don't serve their purpose anymore. This is how you can gently transcend it. For the job example, for example, you outgrew your job, you feel like it's boring and repetitive. Now it's time for something new. Then you go into a creative pursuit. You can start your own businesses. You can go freelance. That's the natural progression if you become more autonomous. And you can always go back when you feel the responsibility is too much. You can always go back into the jobs, but you still feel the pull, the evolutionary pull to grow, outgrow that, because you have been opened up to that new awareness. Then you become a business owner, and then when you outgrew that, you think, okay, I don't need this anymore. You become an investor. And then when you outgrown being an investor, you become... What can you become after being an investor? You become a monk in the Himalayas? Whatever is the next stage for you is correct. It doesn't mean you demonize the others. It's all part of the whole. It's all valid. You know? So, no resistance, just creation. And just a recognition of the new stages of consciousness. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing right now. You are exactly where you are meant to be. The universe is hyper intelligent and doesn't give you more than you can be capable of. It gives you exactly what you need to grow. It doesn't give you too much. It's gentle on you. You can handle anything that comes your way because you created it that way. You are the creator of your external projection. This is just a dream. So, of course you can handle it. It's not even real. So recognize that control is an illusion. And you don't have to resist controllers or the Matrix or the Illuminati or what else. Yeah, you always have opportunities to take advantage of low-level awareness, that take advantage of the masses to make profit. But that doesn't mean you have to resist them. It's just the way it is. And the way to get out of anything is with awareness. Awareness is everything. So just know you don't have to resist anything. You just have to become more aware and go into creator mode instead of consumer mode if you want to go to the next level. You can also stay in the old level, but how do you feel? It's all about, do you feel fulfilled? It's all about you. So do what's best for you, you know? If you're happy, stay doing the things that make you happy. If you're not happy, transcend it and change it. Change it. And you can be free. Okay? There's no resistance. Nothing is bad. Nothing is wrong. Everything is perfect. And the universe is conspiring for you to grow and to evolve into higher awareness. That's all for today. Bye-bye.